Hey everybody, welcome to Kavanaugh's Corner. Here on the channel, I review 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, physical media, things like that. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, or if you're a collector like I am, I ask you to please consider subscribing. Now you may notice I'm wearing some different glasses today. They're very much not what I normally wear, but I wanted to wear them kind of in tribute to Ryan Gosling's character in the movie that we're going to be reviewing today. That is Project Hail Mary. This was a massive blockbuster hit. This I actually did get to see in theaters, and I have to say it was one of the most incredible movie-going experiences I've had. I actually got to see this in 70 millimeter. Not 70 millimeter IMAX, just regular 70 millimeter. In a AMC in Disney Springs in Orlando. It was a blast, and it was really nice to actually hear the whirring of the projector for the first time in God knows how long. It's been a very long time, but this got some audience reactions that were just unbelievable, and I really enjoyed this movie. It moved me, it made me laugh, and there's not much more you can ask from a movie, so I really loved this. So when I heard that this was finally coming to physical media on 4K and everything, I was very excited. So today we're going to be talking about Project Hail Mary. Now this is the standard edition. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the other edition that's coming out and my thoughts on that later in the video. But for now, we'll talk about this 4K disc that's going to be coming out on August 11th. And we'll be talking about the picture quality, the audio quality, and the special features, so stay tuned. So two things I always like to mention before I get into the review here is one, I watched this on a 4K LG OLED television. It was a C4 77-inch model and hooked up to a Panasonic UB9000 4K Blu-ray player, all connected to a Denon receiver, which goes to a 5.1.2 surround sound speaker setup. Now, your experience may differ greatly depending on your home setup. I just like to mention that what I watched it on, so you have kind of a baseline of where I'm coming from with this review. The other thing I like to mention is that this was sent to me by MGM or Amazon, whatever you want to call it, and Alliance Entertainment. They're the distributor for this disc here. So I like to mention that because even though I'm not getting paid monetarily by Amazon, MGM, or Alliance Entertainment, they only ask that I make some kind of content for the products. I don't owe them anything. They don't tell me what to say. So just know these reviews are mine and mine alone. They are not being swayed by anybody. There's no good or bad standing with them. It's just whatever I want to say about it. So just know that, then there's no funny business going on here. So let's jump right into the picture quality part of the review here for Project Hail Mary. This movie does have Dolby Vision, and it is a native 4K transfer. And I think one of the biggest things to note about this disc is the fact that this disc does actually have switching aspect ratios. Now, this disc, the aspect ratios switch between 2:39 to 1 and 1:78 to 1, which means certain scenes have that 2:39 to 1 aspect ratio where you have the big black spaces on the top and bottom, and the space scenes are 1:78 to 1, so the screen is completely filled with the image. Now, this is pretty cool because I didn't actually even know this movie did that. In 70 millimeter, the way I saw it, it was actually a fixed aspect ratio the whole movie, as far as I can remember. I never remember the screen opening up or anything like that. I think it was 2:20 to 1, if I'm not mistaken, for the whole movie. And it looked great, but this disc here straight up flattened me out. Now, I know this is a newer movie, and this was shot digitally, as far as I know. I think this was shot in Arri Alexa RAW, and it was shot in 4K and 6.5K. So this was really high resolution stuff. I can only imagine the size of the digital files for this. Man, is this movie sharp as a tack. I mean, this thing just jumps out at you every chance it gets. The colors are vibrant. The skin tones are lifelike. Every little detail that can be seen in this film can be seen on this 4K. I mean, you don't miss a thing. Little imperfections on skin, clothing detail, little fibers on clothing and stuff like that. It is just razor sharp. I mean, it's unbelievable. And to be honest with you, this is a showcase disc. This is a disc that you put on when you want to show off what your home theater can do. Thankfully, it's a really good movie that goes along with this experience. There were some moments that happened during the film here that I, again, didn't expect. There's actually some blurring that happens, and it's a manufactured kind of light, kind of blur kind of thing that happens. And it's funny because it actually overlaps the black mats on the top and bottom of the screen. It's kind of a neat effect, and I don't think I've ever seen that outside of maybe like 1 or 2 3D movies that I've seen where they use that negative space in the frame to put something in front of it. Very interesting stuff. Didn't know that was going to be there. But the movie looks gorgeous, and the colors of this, the Dolby Vision, just makes these vibrant colors jump out at you. Greens, yellows, oranges, reds especially. The scene where Ryan Gosling goes out into the Petrova line, IR camera kind of kicks in. You see this red lights kind of lighting up and everything. The whole screen is this very vibrant, almost crimson red. It really just knocked me out of my socks. I mean, I was really, really, really impressed with what they were able to do with this film, especially on this 4K. There are some really lush greens, deep reds, as I mentioned, vibrant blues as well, and these realistic skin tones all throughout. Very, very, very cool stuff. I can't say anything more than this is a total knockout of a 4K disc. Even the black levels are perfect. They did add a level of digital film grain to this. It's barely noticeable, but it's there, and it does add a little bit of depth to the picture. There's nothing wrong with that. I kind of get a kick out of the fact that they're making a digital movie look filmic. It's nice, though. I like film grain in movies. I really love the look of this movie. This disc is absolute 10 out of 10 in terms of picture quality. I was just floored by it. Absolutely loved it. Next, we'll get into the audio quality here, and this is another one of these things where I wasn't ready for how good it was. This does have a Dolby Atmos audio track. This may be actually one of the most impressive Dolby Atmos tracks I've ever heard. There were moments where I actually had to kind of turn it down a little because the bass was shaking the room. My little home theater area got a little violent that night, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. The Atmos effects, again, the overheads and stuff, they are used to a degree. It's not all the time, but the way that this movie has spaced out sound effects, dialogue, the music sounded absolutely incredible. Everything about this Dolby Atmos track was really, really impressive. It has some serious depth to it, and yet again, I cannot say anything negative about it. It was basically like having a serious Dolby Cinema in my living room. 10 out of 10 again for the audio. This is kind of a showcase type situation for audio and video here. Now, in terms of special features, this is where I'm gonna sing a little bit of a different tune. This disc really only has 3 special features on it. There is a feature-length commentary by directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, and that commentary is really the big thing on this disc in terms of special features. Their commentary track is great, and they really do a great job of being very, very technical about how they did certain things in this movie, and they're kind of fun to listen to, so that's a great audio track. Other than that commentary track, there's really only two other things, and they are barely of note. One of them is a collection of deleted scenes. I think it's about 10 or 11 minutes long. Nothing really too special there. And then you have a little featurette that's about 8 minutes long that is really all about the character Rocky, who is an outstanding character, kind of indicative of E.T., but I love the buddy dynamic that this movie had with that character, and it shows how they brought that character to life. Very cool to see, but it's very much a surface level type of featurette. Why this is so upsetting to me is that there is going to be a second version of this movie coming out within the next few months, I think. And that version is going to have a secondary disc, I guess, that's going to be filled with other special features, as well as a completely different presentation of this movie, which is very disappointing. That other presentation is going to have a different set of aspect ratios, where it's going to have the 2:39:1 for the Earth scenes, like this has, but it's going to have the 4:3 aspect ratio, which is actually the proper IMAX aspect ratio, which you never see on a home video release. The problem is it's locked behind what is now a sold-out steelbook. That, to me, is very disappointing. Obviously, why that was done was a money-making decision, and that sucks. Warner Brothers did a similar thing with One Battle After Another, where they had a bunch of special features locked behind a limited edition steelbook of that movie that came out a few months after its initial standard 4K release. If you are a big fan of this film, then maybe it's worth waiting until that steelbook comes back in stock. If not, the special features here on this disc, I can only judge and give a rating of what's here, and what's here is not a whole heck of a lot. The best thing on it is that commentary track, so for that, I'm giving this a 5 out of 10. Why we couldn't get all that stuff in just a single release and just up the price point a little, I have a feeling it's because of this. So all in all, what were my thoughts on this 4K edition of Project Hail Mary? I think that this is a fantastic release for what it is. Now, again, like I said, if you want to hold out for that Steelbook edition, if it comes back in stock anytime soon, you can. For what's here, the movie is really the reason to buy it. And I will say, the movie looked and sounded completely spectacular. And I mean reference level disc fantastic. This is a standout release here. I just wish that we had those other little things. But for what's here, it's great. If you don't mind not having a lot of special features, it's even better for you. So all in all, I recommend this in a big way, even though we're going to get that secondary release a few months down the road. If you want to pick up Project Hail Mary, I'll leave a link in the little shopping cart icon thing. It may even pop up on screen here, depending on what you're watching this video on. If not, it's totally okay. The best thing you can do for me here, especially if you made it this far into the video, is to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel, because I'm always making new content basically week after week now. I try to get at least one video out every week reviewing something that's out there. And if you're a fan of that kind of thing, then I hope that you'll subscribe. Big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to me in the past, or people that are always commenting and stuff like that. I really appreciate you all. So until next time, I wish you guys all the very best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.